Hey Laura, did you ever see the classic movie The Graduate?
The old film with Dustin Hoffman? I don't think I have.
Well, for all the acclaim that movie received and it won Oscars, there's one line in it that has just lived on and on in popular culture. And believe it or not, it's relevant to the show we're doing today. Hello again, I'm Mark Huffman in the United States.
And I'm Laura McKeever in the United Kingdom, and this is Rx411, your prescription for health.
Rx411 is your online source for helpful health information about prescription and over-the-counter drugs, those nasty diseases, and health resources. That's rx411.com. And Laura, let me set this up for you. This is the iconic scene from the movie The Graduate. Ben, played by Dustin Hoffman, has just graduated from college and is back home in California with no idea what he's going to do in his future. He's at a party at his parents' home, and a family friend pulls him aside to offer some advice. Let's listen.
I just want to say one word to you. Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
Exactly how do you mean?
There's a great future in plastics.
No kidding. So what did you think of that?
I think it's great advice if you have just graduated from medical school. Definitely where the money isn't quite rewarding.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing to remember here, the movie was made in 1967, and there wasn't nearly the amount of plastic in our world then. And like Ben's family friend says, it's coming. The problem with plastic, of course, is that it doesn't fully decompose. It lasts forever. And when it gets dumped in the ocean, it's floating around. And you've seen the footage of those huge islands of plastic bottles out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's kind of a problem.
Yes, indeed it is. And according to one small piece of research from Austria recently, it may also be a health problem. The study I'm talking about is a pilot study that analysed the feces or stool, however you want to refer to it, of 8 people from different European regions. The participants, as well as providing their stool samples, also reported what they were eating and the packaging it came in. Now, it's important to note at this moment in time that 6 of them were fish eaters, as fish pass a lot of plastics through their systems, mainly thanks to the amount that we dump in the ocean. The research revealed that we're consuming on average 20 microparticles of plastic per 10 grams of feces per day. To convert this into a more sensible equation, that's around 1 ounce of stool per 12 pounds of weight each day. And that's just under a pound per average sized person.
So is that a lot?
Yeah, I think it's about 120 micrograms of plastic each day that we're passing through. Because this is, relatively new research, quite how that translates to health outcomes, we're not sure.
Now, we've talked on this show before how scientific studies need to be robust in order to yield credible results. And this was a pretty small study. So what do you take away from it?
Okay, so although the study is small, it's an excellent platform for us to learn more about plastic consumption and how it's affecting us. For example, we know from the Centre for Disease Control that those who spend a lot of time around PVC can harm their liver and their kidneys, which are the 2 main organs that we use to detox ourselves. However, that applies to people in certain work settings, not those who are potentially consuming too much PVC. So if we're going to have a more accurate understanding of how those harms may or may not arise from food packaging, we need a larger study. And, when we have a larger study, we can start looking at a bigger population to see if, we are all passing more plastics than we thought. And then the researchers will measure the health outcomes of those people in line with how much plastic they're passing, and they'll exclude other potential causes for the adverse health outcomes too. So it might seem frustrating that the study is really, really small, but it does give us a little bit more consumer power when it comes to choosing food packaging correctly. So using the evidence it's given us, we could be extra cautious and reduce how much plastic we encounter while eating. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can wait for the results and then adjust your habits.
And this may be a little off the beaten path, but there have been similar studies about how bisphenol A, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, or BPA, which was a chemical used to harden plastic and was used in plastic bottles a lot in recent years. It's been phased out now, but there's been studies that have shown how that leaches out of the plastic and into the environment, and they're finding it everywhere. So it kind of goes to the point that just how much plastic we're exposed to. If we want to reduce our exposure to dietary plastic, I guess there are some things that we can do. I've read where it's not a good idea to microwave food in like a plastic container or plastic wrap. What do you have to offer people about, how to perhaps protect themselves?
Yeah, you're absolutely right on the microwaving thing, because I read over at Harvard Health that harmful plastics are going to migrate into our foods when we're microwaving fatty foods especially. And, if we're being honest, most of the stuff people microwave in plastics is fatty. So microwaves aside, there are other ways we can reduce the amount of plastic that's entering our mouths. For example, one that's very popular right now is to not use straws, or to use paper straws instead, or cardboard. Step away from the disposable water bottles, aim for one that's BPA free and take it out with you and refill it. If you do find yourself in a situation where you must drink bottled water, nobody wants anybody to become dehydrated. Don't reuse it. That's known for sort of, increasing your exposure to harmful bacteria as well as plastic. Try packing your own lunch if you're going to be buying fresh food. Buy the stuff that isn't in plastic packaging. When it comes to fruit, a lot of people seem to think that drinking fruit juice is the same as actually eating fruit. It's not. Most juices are flooded with sugars and they're packaged in plastic. So, you're helping yourself, the environment, and your dentist if you eat fruit rather than trying to drink the juice. And, when you go out for a coffee, if you have a morning coffee during your commute, ask them if they have reusable coffee cups that you can keep bringing in. I won't mention big brand names, but a lot of them do now give you discounts for doing that. And, you then avoid drinking a hot substance that's passing against plastic and into your mouth.
And you brought up plastic straws, and there have been campaigns in the U.S. and I guess as well in the U.K. to phase out plastic straws. But it seems to me that plastic straws are a very small part of the plastic problem. When you go into a fast food restaurant and order a salad, and maybe to some people that's sort of counterintuitive. You don't go to a fast food restaurant to order a salad, but I do. And the salad comes in a plastic bowl. The bowl has a plastic top. The utensils are made of plastic, and the utensils are usually wrapped in a plastic wrapper. And it's all single-use plastic. And I'm not aware of any fast food restaurant in the U.S. or anywhere that recycles the stuff. So it's really hard to do. Although, do you have Panera Bread restaurants in the U.K.?
We don't, but I've been to Panera Bread a fair few times while I've been in the States. So I'm familiar with it.
Well, the remarkable thing about this, and it's kind of a deli type. It's not fast food, but it's called fast casual. And there's very little plastic in the restaurant. They use real silverware and real plates that they wash and reuse. And 60 years ago, almost all restaurants did that. But now, everything's plastic and thrown away.
So I guess now we've just sort of introduced plastic as a layer of convenience, but we don't really know quite how inconvenient it could be in the long term.
Laura, the people that your friends, your family, the people you talk to, are they really conscious of plastic as a problem? Or do they talk about it? Or do they sort of take steps to recycle? What I'm getting at, I guess, is society moving toward actually hoping to do something about this?
I think society is slowly moving towards it, but I do worry that, for every step we make towards reducing plastic, there's a fair degree of resistance as well, both on my side of the Atlantic and yours. For example, over here, our children are usually told in school about recycling and environmental harms. If we use plastic bags that are given to us in supermarkets, we're charged for doing so as opposed to just being given them. Now, some of my friends who are more libertarian minded, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing whatsoever, they see that as being a personal intrusion into our lives. And so I think we are moving towards it, but not everybody is open to the idea that we need to reduce how much plastic we're using in general, not just with food.
Okay, Laura, we'll leave it there. Until next time, I'm Mark Huffman.
And I'm Laura McKeever.
Reminding you to recycle those plastic containers.
Or buy your food and beverages in cardboard packaging wherever possible.
Oh, excellent point. And this reminder that you can always get the latest health news and information online at Rx411.com. So long, everybody.